Every morning before work, he snags a bag of urine and straps it to his thigh. He then prepares blood pouches for all 10 fingertips along with various hair and skin samples. Finally, he puts on clean clothes preserved in a vacuum seal. To cover all his bases, he blows dust off his keyboard and carefully sprinkles someone else's biological debris on it. He even deliberately tangles hair in his comb. Vincent disguises himself as one of the elite to hide his genetically flawed roots. In this future world, genetic technology is highly advanced. Children are no longer symbols of love, but perfectible works of engineering. Parents can directly cultivate the highest quality next generation, pick out their kids' hair and skin color, even pre-select personality traits. Baldness and other genetic bugs are a thing of the past. Everyone is intelligent with bright eyes. Vincent, however, was an accident for his parents. The moment Vincent was born, nurses gave him a death sentence. 89% chance of ADHD, 99% chance of heart disease, and a maximum life expectancy of 30 years. It was a devastating blow.
30 years.
As expected, Vincent's childhood was far more difficult than others. Chronically ill, insurance companies wouldn't touch him, and even kindergartens rejected him. To make up for this regret, his parents decided to have another child, this time without hesitation, choosing genetic screening. Soon, his nearly perfect younger brother Anton was born. Anton grew rapidly, excelling in every area. In comparison, Vincent seemed worthless. But Vincent refused to believe genes determined everything. The brothers often raced swimming at the beach. No matter how hard Vincent struggled, Anton always left him far behind. Yet Vincent never gave up. His dream since childhood was to travel to space. Earth never felt like he belonged. He clung to this dream into adulthood, but his parents never believed in him. After all, he had only a few years left to live.
Mom, there's a chance there's nothing even wrong with my heart.
1 chance in 100. The only way that you'll see the inside of a spaceship is if you were cleaning it.
Unfortunately, his father was right. In this society, everyone's resume is written in their cells. From birth, people are divided into classes. No matter how outstanding you appear, you'll be shut out if your genes are inferior. Vincent was determined to break this invisible barrier. His immediate goal, win the swimming race against Anton. They returned to the beach for another contest. With no way to retreat, Vincent pushed forward. Unexpectedly, Anton exhausted his strength first. Vincent still had enough energy to carry him back. It was the first time he defeated the impossible. In that moment, Vincent believed hard work outweighed genes. When he got home, he tore himself out of the family photo. Perhaps without him, the family would be complete and perfect. His parents never thought he'd live past 30. He left without saying goodbye. Only Anton watched his departing figure. At 30, the old Vincent was declared dead. A new Vincent fighting for his dream was born, but he still only worked as a janitor at Gattaca, staring up at the sky, watching his dream take flight without him. No matter how hard he trained, Vincent couldn't pass through Gattaca's inner gates. Without changing his genes, he had no chance, so he came up with a desperate plan: use his life savings to buy a new identity. Genes might be fixed, but fate is unpredictable. Even elites can fall from grace. Through a black market dealer, Vincent connected with Jerome Morrow, a swimming champion paralyzed from the waist down. The dealer told him, "Society doesn't care about your looks, only your birth. You can use Jerome's identity to enter the upper class." They fitted Vincent with contact lenses, straightened his teeth, and changed his hairstyle, making him a dead ringer for Jerome. The biggest challenge was Vincent's height. The only solution was leg-lengthening surgery, which he endured despite excruciating pain. He also practiced writing with his right hand. Vincent was naturally left-handed. The day of the interview arrived and he was nervous, but the doctor only glanced at his genetic profile and approved him.
What about the interview?
That was it.
So this is what life is like for the elite. Pretending to be Jerome was tedious. Every day, Vincent scrapes off every bit of his own skin and hair, burning all those traces in an incinerator. Jerome supplied him with urine and blood serum on schedule. With this disguise, Vincent entered Gattaca. He cautiously approached his dream, and his hard work earned him rapid promotions. He was soon in line for an astronaut mission. Others coast through life on perfect genes, but Vincent fought to take root in barren soil, surviving on every strand of hair and nail clipping. Then disaster struck the company. One morning, employees found a director beaten to a pulp with a keyboard. Vincent didn't think much of it until a stray eyelash of his fell at the crime scene. Police collected biological samples from every corner, searching for outsiders. Sure enough, Vincent's name appeared in the results. The detective investigating the case was stunned. Finding this man became critical. His genes showed he'd die before 30, and he'd worked as a janitor at Gattaca years earlier, disappearing without a trace. This couldn't be a coincidence. Meanwhile, someone else at the company had noticed Vincent. Irene had secretly collected Vincent's genetic samples, but they were all Jerome's. She saw him as her ideal partner. Irene had excellent genes, but a tiny heart defect made her only an alternate astronaut. Perhaps out of a shared sense of being on the outside, Vincent felt drawn to her. To prove her feelings, Irene pulled out a strand of her hair and gave it to him.
If you're still interested, let me know.
I'm sorry, the wind caught it.
Love sparked out of nowhere, making genetic differences irrelevant. On their way home that night, police stopped them for a random check. Vincent saw they'd test his pupils and saliva. He removed his contact lenses and lied. "I just kissed someone. Blood test would be better." Irene smiled and didn't contradict him. Vincent passed the test, but he was pretty much blind without his contacts. Irene insisted on taking him to watch the sunrise. She crossed the street easily, but Vincent had to gamble with his life to keep up.
Come on, we'll miss it!
Thankfully, he made it safely. Irene took him to a solar farm. She saw countless beams of light stepping down the stairs. Vincent saw shimmering water. They stood in the same place but saw different worlds, a clear present versus a blurry future. The detective searched the company again and found more of Vincent's jeans in the trash. The eyelash at the crime scene wasn't an accident. The police chief ordered a mandatory blood draw. Surely no one could replace all the blood in their body. The next day, all employees lined up for the test. Detectives guarded the door to prevent cheating, but Vincent remained surprisingly calm. He'd hidden a vial of Jerome's blood in his palm.
Ow! God damn! Practice some more?
Luckily, it looks as though we have enough.
The crisis passed. The detective wiped blood off his shoe. It was a flawless con. After the screening, police found nothing. The chief wanted to retest, but the project supervisor refused. The murder had delayed the space mission long enough. The chief had to reconsider. They interviewed employees one by one, finally reaching Jerome.
You're a navigator? At Gattaca? It doesn't say you're crippled.
I hurt my leg training, you moron. How dare you question me?
That night, Irene invited Vincent to a concert. He was nervous but excited. Jerome told him to dress well. Clothes make the man, don't show up in work clothes and glasses. During the performance, their hands touched gently. Romance filled the air. After the show, the pianist threw his glove into the crowd. Vincent noticed the man had 6 fingers. Irene explained, that piece was written specifically for someone with 12 fingers. Some musical families alter their children's genes out of selfish desire, stripping them of choice right from birth. Suddenly, police burst into the venue. Vincent couldn't let them catch him. He grabbed Irene and booked it out of there. But detectives were waiting at the back door, including the one hunting him. Vincent took the detective down and pulled Irene away. As they ran, the detective shouted after them.
Vincent! Vincent!
Who's Vincent?
Right.
Don't say anything.
That night, they grew intimate at Irene's apartment. But the next morning, Vincent immediately cleaned off his hair, then went to the beach naked, scrubbing his body with stones as if washing away his genetic imperfections. Using a stolen identity, he'd finally found his true self, but he could never remove the mask. He told Irene he was innocent of the murder. She chose to believe him. The next day, the detective went to Jerome's house, dead set on Vincent being the killer. Irene was stalling for him. He's injured and resting at home. But the detective insisted on checking. Before leaving, Irene secretly texted Vincent. Desperate, Vincent called Jerome.
I need you to be yourself for the day. The investigators are coming by. I'm supposed to be sick.
How long have I got?
Not long.
Jerome hauled himself out of his wheelchair and began crawling, struggling from the basement to the first floor. He had to answer the door before the detective knocked. He abandoned his pride, crawled his way to a chair, and tried to look neat. With great effort, he lifted his legs into place.
Hello, sweetheart. Where's my kiss?
She understood immediately, leaning in to kiss him like lovers in front of the detective. She knew this was the real Jerome, but she was protecting the Jerome she loved. The detective tested his blood, but he didn't care. He'd already made up his mind the moment he arrived. The detective left feeling deflated. Then the chief called. The murder suspect had been arrested. After he left, Vincent emerged. Irene's eyes filled with tears, feeling betrayed. Vincent chased after her. I don't even know who I fell in love with, she said. Vincent confessed. I'm still the same person as yesterday. My name is Vincent. I'm an invalid, a genetic underdog. I was given a death sentence at birth, but my heart has beaten tens of thousands of extra times.
For whatever it's worth, I'm here to tell you that it is possible.
Irene couldn't forgive the lies. They went their separate ways. Meanwhile, the real killer was caught. The chief found the supervisor's saliva in the victim's eye. He'd killed to speed up the space mission. His own death was imminent, and he couldn't bear to miss its success. He had no violent genes, yet he'd beaten a man to a pulp with a keyboard. The detective let out a huge sigh of relief. He'd known Vincent was alive all along, but refused to believe he was a killer, because Vincent was his brother.
My God, you have changed. Has it been so long you don't recognize your own brother? Our parents both died thinking they'd outlived you.
Anton couldn't believe it. His genetically flawed brother had achieved more than the perfect him. The humiliation of their childhood swim races still lingered. He was bitterly jealous, but Vincent was still his brother. Vincent was innocent of murder, but falsifying his identity was a crime. Anton offered to help him escape, but Vincent was days away from going to space. He refused to leave. Both had something to prove. They returned to the beach for another swim race, their first in years. Would genes determine their fate? They swam farther and farther, agreeing the first to turn back lost. Anton grew scared, but Vincent's goal was the opposite shore.
What other side? You want to drown us both? You want to know how I did it? I never saved anything for the swim back.
Genes are fixed, but chasing a dream requires fighting for it your whole life. My heart can't handle the energy to turn back. Every step forward is an all-in bet. Identity is a borrowed vessel. Willpower is the sail. Vincent pulled the exhausted Anton to shore. As the fog lifted, the sky lit up. Vincent went to apologize to Irene. She'd already forgiven him. She knew he couldn't see that morning at the solar farm, yet he'd still run toward her. So when Vincent offered her a strand of his hair, she let it float away.
Sorry. The wind caught it.
The same invisible wind had brought them together twice. When Vincent got home, he found Jerome had boxed up all his gear. Jerome took him to his lab, filled with enough biosamples to last a lifetime.
Why have you done all this? Where are you going?
I'm traveling too.
I don't know how to thank you.
I only lent you my body. You lent me your dream.
Jerome handed him an envelope. Open it when you're in space. He smiled, saying thank you, and that was their goodbye. The next day was Vincent's launch. He'd passed all previous tests, but there was a last-minute pee test. Unprepared, Vincent had no choice but to pee in the cup.
That I was as good as any, and better than most. I could have gone up and back, and nobody would have been the wiser.
I never did tell you about my son, did I? He's a big fan of yours. Unfortunately, my son's not all that they promised, but then who knows what he could do.
Vincent knew he'd be caught. It was a plea, praying the doctor would overlook the results, but the doctor wasn't surprised. He'd known Vincent was impersonating Jerome this whole time. Right-handed people don't hold the cup with their left hand when giving a pee sample. Yet he changed the test results. As he'd said about his son, fate's imperfections are unpredictable. His son's dream of entering Gattaca was alive in Vincent. Perhaps it was destiny. When you have an unshakable dream, people who see your effort will go out of their way to help you. As Vincent boarded the spacecraft of his dreams, Jerome opened an incinerator elsewhere. 2 hatches closed, one in space, one on Earth. Jerome's paralysis wasn't an accident. In a world of perfect genes, he'd always been second best. His pride drove him to try to take his own life. For his final journey, he put on the silver medal he'd won. Then he turned on the incinerator. Roaring flames carried Vincent into space. Gentle flames embraced Jerome. In that moment, his silver medal might as well have turned to gold. Vincent gazed at the bright galaxy, then opened Jerome's envelope. Inside was a strand of his own hair. People say the atoms in our bodies were once part of the stars. Going to space isn't leaving, it's coming home. They wrote you a perfect life script, but never asked if you wanted to perform it. The world labels invalids, turning everyone into rigid copies. We forgot what the world was really like. A vibrant place where people are all different, follow their hearts, have strengths and weaknesses, and clash sometimes. Gattaca tells a sci-fi story without flashy effects, yet it's more grounded in real life than most blockbusters. This is Gattaca, released in 1997. Everyone's genes are etched in the spiral of DNA. They use data to predict your limits, but can never foresee the courage of your tomorrow. If cheating was an option, who would bother striving? This is the real deal when they say, I make my own fate, not my genes. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe. See you next time.